Toy Story is back with its fifth installment for all the kiddies and adults who grew up with these movies. Is it just another fun chapter like the first three movies? And no, I didn't misspeak there. Or is it another stealthy, devious delivery system for the disease known as woke? They would never, would they? No. Well, before you quote Buzz Lightyear and call me a sad, strange little man, let's discuss on today's Movies Merica Live.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Well, hello there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to this latest episode of Movies Merica Live, a Toy Story 5 episode. And as always, I'm your host, Van Eberts, and I am a little under the weather here today. So just to let you know that right off the jump, but I'm not going to dwell on that. But all that to say is this might be a shorter episode than usual right there. So just know that going forward. Don't think that I'm being all stuck up and uppity and by not having as long an episode today as I normally do. But I'm playing injured. But anyway, that's okay. All right, moving on. All right. So, real quick, I just want to remind you here that we do have the live chat available in Rumble and YouTube. So, you don't have to just hear me just talk about Toy Story 5 and all you get to do is sit there and twiddle your thumbs, or pick your nose or scratch your belly button. No, you can do more than that. You get in the live chat and you can let me know, hey, what if you questions or hey, just anything you want on live chat. Hey, more power to you. In the end, you can live chat about whatever you want. Okay, but let's get into Toy Story 5. Okay, and we all knew this was inevitable. Toy Story 5 was going to come out. The first four made too much money, and of course, no one ever accused Hollywood of having much of an imagination or even knowing what the word innovation means all that often. Okay, so yeah, they basically realized like, all right, hey, Toy Story, yeah, it makes a lot of money, and we've made a lot of decisions here in Hollywood in the last 15, 20 years that have lost us a lot of money. Namely, it all you can kind of mostly for the most part, it made no sense. For the most part, you can kind of chalk it up into one word. It's woke. So that's what's lost them a lot of money. So now they need to drudge up and recycle, the same IP, the same franchises that they know will get, the people out, especially the kids. We'll get out. We'll bring the kids out of the house into the movie theater there. So to that end, they made Toy Story 5, and this one is directed by Andrew Stanton, and he also directed Finding Nemo. I think he did the Finding Dory movie. He did Wall-E. Unfortunately, his name will always be tied to what I believe is still known as the biggest flop in movie history, John Carter, but which I don't know. John Carter gets a bad name because of that fact right there. But if you watch John Carter, it's not a terrible movie. It's just obviously they paid way too much for the movie there. It's got way too big a budget. But Andrew Stanton, the director of Toy Story 5, was the director of that. And so, yeah, his name will always be stained, so to speak, by that movie right there. Now, of course, Toy Story 5, it stars Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. Got Joan Cusack as Jessie, and Conan O'Brien, I guess, is in this movie. And then who else we got in here? So got what was it? Not Oh, was it Ernie Hudson? There we go. I'm about to say Ernie Banks. Okay, he's a Cubs player. But Ernie Hudson, the fourth Ghostbuster, as a lot of you might know him by there. So he does a voice in here, and a number of other recognizable celebrities, actors, actresses, whatnot, and so forth, and that kind of thing. In this one, it's 2026. We're way beyond Andy, the young boy who owned the toys in the very first Toy Story, which is kind of depressing because Andy's got to be what, like, in his 40s by now, since Toy Story came out like 30 years ago. So yeah, if I'm pissing you off because I'm making you feel old, in comparison to now and when the first Toy Story came out in 1995, you're welcome. There you go. So, and hey, I'm making myself feel old, okay? Because I remember seeing the first Toy Story in '95 in the theaters, and I was an adult when that movie came out right there. So, but yeah, the plot of this movie here, we'll get into it a little bit here. So, if I can recall here, but which that's kind of if that's an indicator as far as like what I got out of this movie here. But the plot, I believe, is that we have Bonnie from Toy Story 4, and apparently she doesn't look like she's aged at all here since the last movie came out in 2019. That's when Toy Story 4 came out, and she doesn't look like she hasn't aged even a microsecond. And so Jesse is trying to get her to make friends and with a couple of kids from across the street, and then somehow they end up like at Jesse's old house where her first kid that used to play with her like decades ago, they end up at her old farmhouse, and there's some kind of mission to try to reunite her with her sidekick. I mean, it's just, I don't know, the plot's all over the place. I'll be honest with you, I was sleeping through about a quarter of the movie here. I will own a little bit of that up to that. I'm an adult. This is a Toy Story movie, and this is not a Toy Story movie like the first three, where even if you're an adult, those first three movies, there's enough to them to hold your attention as an adult. As an adult, you're going to be laughing along with the kids and all that. You're going to get some of the jokes that the kids don't. It's entertaining. As an adult, you might get teary eyed, that kind of thing. But with Toy Story 5, none of that. It's a very generic screenplay. Nothing about this movie made me laugh, except for maybe a couple of lines in it. And so, yeah, I was just enjoying some nice little nap time for a lot of this movie. And so enough, apparently, where I can't even piece together the plot. But again, it's a Toy Story movie. I mean, are you really hanging off every word of in the screenplay of the plot? No. For most adults, it's like a chance to, I'm going to bring my kids to this movie, and it's going to shut them up for an hour and a half at least, and then I can just relax and all that. So that's mostly. So it's not like the upcoming movie, The Odyssey, right, where you just got to be like really attentive to the plot or anything like that, right? It's not another Nolan movie, Memento, where you got to like really be paying attention to the plot. Toy Story plot, it's a throwaway thing. It's a disposable thing. It's just you're there to see all kinds of cool computer animation and keep your kids occupied for at least 90 minutes to give you a break as a parent and all of that stuff right there. So with that, yeah, I'm not gonna twist myself into a pretzel and have to try to do mental gymnastics to try to remember what I can of the plot of Toy Story 5. Okay. Not gonna do it there. So just know it's got Buzz and Woody and Jesse and Rex and your normal cast of characters, along with some newcomers in this. Lilypad is a newcomer. I think she's voiced by Greta Lee, who in case you don't know who she is, if you happen to have the misfortune of seeing that terrible Tron Ares movie that came out last year there with Jared Leto, she was like the Asian, girl boss character in that movie there. So, but anyway, let's mercifully move on. All right, let's get into some more Toy Story 5 here. And I gotta say, let's get into some positivity, right? Some of you might be watching the show like, man, Van, you're always depressing and negative and always like, just getting in here and whining about stuff right here. Let's get into some more, positive, uplifting stuff right here. And I love movie opening weekends like this because you get to see about the closest thing you'll ever see that resembles how packed movie theaters used to be, okay? Way back in the day, okay? I mean, parents and kids taking up most of the theater real estate to see the latest Toy Story movie. I mean, like, way back in my day, you'd be lucky to find a seat to the latest movie if you waited too long. That's before these highfalutin cars came along and replaced our horses. Sorry. Excuse me. Let's see. I know to a lot of you, I sounded like a crotchety old man there, but just you wait, you young whippersnappers, when down the road you'll be saying, I miss the days when you could play cool games on your PlayStation 5 while shucking down a Code Red Mountain Dew, but now they have Neuralink chips in your ass cheek where all you have to do is pull on your left ear to play a video game in your head with no game controller. Okay. That could be you someday. I mean, you might be right there where I'm at. Well, not my. You probably will be right where I'm at 30 years from now. Doing, dang nabbit, I don't like it. Okay, and you know what? Back to the positivity. Okay, a few weeks ago, I mean, we saw a return to the olden days of way more than 3 people in a theater, thanks to the unexpected success of the horror movie sensations Obsession and Backrooms. Now that got the adults back into the theater like it's pre-China virus days. Okay, so I mean back in before all that went down right there. Now Toy Story 5 is doing the same thing again for the kids and adults. Okay, now we did get a lesser taste of that, a little bit of a taste of that earlier this year with Project Hail Mary and the Super Mario Galaxy movie. But Toy Story 5 will blow those movies away and go to infinity and beyond at the box office. So, I mean, just you wait. It's already got the biggest debut of any movie this year so far. I think it's got like the 4th or 5th biggest debut for an animation movie of all time already. Okay, I mean, it's just Toy Story is catnip for the kiddos. Okay, man, that's good, right? Kids should have some should have some good animation, some good cartoon movies to go see, and try to maintain their innocence as long as possible, right there. But as I'll tell you a little later on in the episode, all is not what it seems. Okay, you can't just count on this movie just being a fun animated movie for the kids. There's an ulterior motive, but I'll go into that a little later on. So things that most people just don't have the capacity to see, or they just choose, willingly to ignore right there. But anyway, we'll get into that later on right there, and we're going to move on to something else. Okay, real quick here, just allow me here for just a minute here to remind you that there is this button called the like button right on down there. So if you would click on that like button, that would be fantabulous right there. And then also there's another button down there called the follow or subscribe button, or right over there, okay? And go ahead and click on that if you would, if you haven't already, okay? And then also there's the notification bell down there as well. So we got a whole lot of buttons down there for you to click on if you would be so kind, okay, but don't click on the notification bell if you already have, okay, because then you'll be clicking off of it. And then as I wrap this segment up mercifully, real quick, I just want to talk to my viewers that aren't watching live. You're watching a recording of this, and first off, thanks for watching. Second of all, we can still communicate back and forth with each other. Okay, we can do that. We just have to do it via the comments section, which is down below. And yeah, feel free to get in the comments section and comment about whatever you want. Hey, you know what? If you want to throw shade at me, you want to heap some praise on me, somewhere in the middle, by all means, go ahead and go crazy. And I read the comments And I'm well aware I could see some stuff that, is less than complimentary, but I don't care. All right. I'm no shrinking violet. I'll check it out anyway. It's all good. Hey, it's all engagement for me. So even if you're in there calling me a piece of crap, I mean, it's all engagement to YouTube and Rumble. So I love it. I love it. But again, comments are in Rumble and YouTube there. So, but anyway, let's get into more Toy Story 5. All right, what else do we got here on the Toy Story 5 beat here? Real quick here, just allow me. I am getting a little parched here, so I need to need a drink off my brewski over here. So here we go. Excellent. Hey, and whatever you guys got in front of you, beer, cocktail, you know, sweet tea, whatever you got, man, and go ahead and hoist it up and hoist it back. There you go. It's time to relax because it's Movies Merica live time. All right. So when Tom Hanks and Tim Allen first voiced Woody and Buzz Lightyear in 1995, I mean, they were both at the absolute height of their powers. I mean, Hanks had just won 2 Best Actor Oscars in a row, for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. Unbelievably, though, I can't believe this. I still can't believe this to this day. He didn't win his first one for Bachelor Party in 1984. Man, what is up with that? Come on, all right. And then for Tim Allen, I mean, Home Improvement was one of the most watched sitcoms at the time in 95. And then the Toy Story movies, kept providing a dependable big payday for them, amongst their other projects. And, that continues today. I mean, now their careers have, well, let's just say, slowed down. All right. However, like I said, Toy Story movies just keep bringing in that sweet, sweet cash transfusion. All right. And it sounds like they followed the advice that Bruce Willis once gave to Samuel L. Jackson, which was, to make sure to establish a role that you play that audiences always love and you can always come back to in order to get that big payday. Okay. I mean, Stallone has Rambo, right? Schwarzenegger has the Terminator. Bruce Willis himself has John McClane. So you always want to establish a character that people love. Of course, now Samuel L. Jackson has Nick Fury, right? In the Avengers movies there. So he can always come back to that. So, and that's not being cynical. I mean, that's just being financially savvy. It's just being smart. It's just using your brain there. And to that end, Hanks and Allen are back. And although they do take a back seat in this Toy Story installment, they still have the armored trucks backing up into their driveways with mucho cash. Okay. Now, about their actual voice performances in Toy Story 5, which some of you watch this right now, be like, oh, you know what? That's nice. You're talking about their financial windfall and how much they're getting paid. How about this? Maybe this will occur to you, Van there. How about you talk about what they do in the movie? I know it's crazy talk, crazy, okay? And I hear you, all right? I hear you right there. And so they bring the enthusiasm as always, and they do the best with the screenplay that they're given. Now, Alan has to voice numerous Buzz Lightyears in this installment, as there's a literal army or fleet, if you want to call it, of Buzzes in this story. Okay. Now, June, there we go. Did I again? Joan Cusack, and about the only thing that keeps her employed nowadays, brings the enthusiasm only a mostly forgotten actress who gets a much craved momentary return to prominence can bring. All right. And I guess, like I said before, Conan O'Brien, he's in this and he voices a device or a tablet or whatever named Smarty Pants in this. But I guess I didn't really recognize his voice until I read in the credits that he's, in this movie here, that he voiced that part. Wallace, inconceivable. Sean continues his legendary work as Rex or T-Rex, okay, for about the 3 seconds that Rex is actually in this, all right? Who am I kidding, though? I mean, it doesn't matter what I say. People are going to see this because their kids are going to spontaneously combust if they don't get to see it, okay? So this is one of those episodes, one of those reviews where I'm like, I know what I say about this movie is of little consequence, and some of you might be saying, "Hey, that's every episode there, Van." Okay, I just didn't want to say, but with this episode, that is especially true right there because, yeah, people aren't going to be like, "Oh, yeah, but I want to check out and see if if Van says Toy Story 5 is a good movie," and then that'll be the main deciding factor whether I take my kids to Toy Story 5. Like, no, you are taking your kids to Toy Story 5, okay? And they will see to it that you do, okay? we all know this, all right? So, all right here. Let's do this here. We have covered enough Toy Story 5 for right now. We'll get back to Toy Story 5. Okay, we will definitely do that, but it's time to handle some brew review time business. All right, let me bring up the brew for today here, and I'll get it right in your face right there. I want to make sure you guys can see that all good. There we go. Let me turn that around a little bit. There, get my paws out the way there. There you go. So obviously, I'm talking about this Victory Prima Pils, or which is short for Pilsner, and this is a highly acclaimed classic German style Pilsner, and comes to us obviously from Victory Brewing, which is made in Pennsylvania, Downingtown, Pennsylvania, to be more specific there. And this is not one of those beers where, it's centuries old and was first brewed in 511 AD by a bunch of monks in some monastery in the Italian Alps. Like some of the beers that I review here. Now, this one actually came around in 1996. Sorry, the olden ancient times of 1996. Where we were listening to hits from Ace of Base and watching new episodes of Friends. Those ancient times. Okay, there. And it's let's talk about the hops. Okay, let's get into the taste of this beer because that's the most important part of the beer here and part of the review. And it's brewed with 4 classic European hop varieties: Tettnang, Hallertau, Spalt, and Saz or Saz, however you want to pronounce that there. And they do produce a taste of floral spice, citrus, and lemon rind right there. And that's the reason why you have kind of like this. I don't know. Well, that's a hop there on the front right there. So kind of looks like a pineapple though, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a hop. Okay, there. And so then it's but it does have a citrus taste to it there, but it's not too overpowering or anything like that. So, but it does use the whole flower European noble hops, which is what's pictured there on the can there, instead of using processed pellets to help brew the beer, a little bit more substantially and make it, a little bit more hearty there. Now we'll get into the malt there, and this thing has a clean foundation of premium German Pilsner malt, which provides a soft, smooth, bready backbone to this beer here. Okay, and then the finish. Well, if I were to pour this into a glass, you'd see a nice golden straw, clear color there with with a dense white head. But I'm drinking it out of the can, not a pint glass, so you're not going to see that right there. But just wanted to verbally paint the picture of that right there. And this comes to us at a alcohol by volume percentage of 5.3. As far as the bitterness of this beer, it's got an IBU or International Bitterness Units a rating of 43 to 44 there. And let's get into the food pairings. Okay, let's get into the foods. I go with this. I go as good with seafood and fish. As far as cheeses go, it goes pretty good with like Monterey Jack or Pepper Jack, like the peppery, variety of cheeses there. And then you can use this to wash down just some good pub fare like pizza and burgers and then German or Japanese cuisine right there. So don't ever say that I didn't give you any kind of like food ideas, to pair with this brew right here. So now to the $1,000,000 question: do I actually recommend this beer? And I do. Okay, now it's not one of my most enthusiastic endorsements here, but I could get down with this. I get down with this here. It's not too bad. And to prove that to you, I'm getting a drink off this bad boy. Well, another drink. Excellent. I'm going to set that down right there for later consumption. There we go. But yes, I would recommend that brew right there. And again, that is the Victory Prima pills right there. So, and yeah, if you have it in the area that you're in, if you're in Pennsylvania, you probably have it available. You can go to like Uber Eats or Open Bar, a couple of apps on your phone to get it. Otherwise, you're gonna have to like go to GoPuff.com, a website that specializes in getting booze that is nowhere near your area, like in your hands for a premium cost. Okay, but anyway, just wanted to say all that in short so that you guys know there are ways to get this brew in your hands right there. Okay, so all right, sorry to cut this shorter than normal right there, but you know what? That officially has been a brew review time. All right, let me do something right here. I'm just going to double check something here and see about something. I'm going to try to double check or do a little multitasking. And here, all right, go. All right, let's do this. All right. And, hey, in the live chat there, anybody in the live chat right there, let me know what's your favorite Toy Story movie? Okay. I mean, I know that, um, I know that a lot of people, their favorite Toy Story movie is going to be amongst the first three right there. Not a whole lot of love, for for four, and then five. We'll see. That remains to be seen as far as if Toy Story 5 is going to be anybody's favorite installment of the Toy Story um, installments. They're a Toy Story franchise, I should say, right there. So, real quick here, I just want to show you something here. I want to show you this here so that, hey, if you want to partake, by all means, you can definitely do that. And this is going to give you something where you'll not only be able to watch uh Rumble Studio. You won't be able to just watch Movies America. You'll be able to wear Movies America. And that brings us to the merch store, the Movies America merch store here. We've got plenty of different merch here. We got hats, t-shirts, and whatnot. And this first set of merch there, this is merch that is featuring the first style of Movies America logo. This is the big mugs style of logo there for obvious reasons there, as you see that. And we got the camo trucker hat there. Just to let you know, there is no purple on that hat, unfortunately. I know it does look tight with that purple on there, but unfortunately it does not have any purple on there, but yeah, it still looks good. Down here, we got, more assorted gear here. We got the baseball long sleeve shirt and pullover hoodies, stuff like that. We got the sports bra there. So if you are in appropriate shape to wear a sports bra right there. So there you go. And then we have the second style of Movies America logo. We have the Holly Weird style. As you see right there, we've got shirts and hoodies and windbreakers with that particular style of logo right there. And then we have my personal favorite logo or style of logo here for Movies America. It's the Black Adam style of Movies America logo here with shirts and tank tops and all of that stuff right there. And now you might be saying, hey, Van, I've got all your clothes. I've got all the gear in my closet. But what I really need is something to chug my beer out of or my coffee or whatever. And so, you know what? Hey, you know what? It's your lucky day because we've got plenty of Movies America drinkware here. Got the coffee mug and a pint glass, among other things. I got koozies here. And then we got, the desk mats here to add some sophistication to your workstation or your desk there, okay? And I'm making it very easy for you to get to this website because the link to the Movies America merch website is down in the description right there. So feel free to get down there and first off, feel free to get down and then get down there to get yourself some Movies America merch, which also makes a good gift. Now, I'd say get it for Father's Day, but given that we're recording this on Father's Day, it's a little too late for Father's Day 2026, okay? I can't beam you the merch, so you're not going to get it in time for today, today being Father's Day 2026. But, hey, you got plenty of time to get merch for Father's Day 2027. There you go. It's no, there's never any harm in being early. There you go. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you the Movies Merica merch so you could check that out. And with that, there, let's press on. All right. And I just have a random thought about Toy Story 5. And typically I have random thoughts, plural, but I'm trying to wrap this show up here for aforementioned reasons. But one random thought that occurred to me, like right after I realized that, the movie Toy Story 5, like that Pixar is getting right into the movie and there's no shorts anymore. There's no little Pixar shorts that are played before Pixar movies anymore. Okay, and I guess they ended that with Toy Story 4 back in 2019. But before, with all the Pixar movies, the numerous Pixar movies. I mean, we're talking about, the first Toy Story and Bugs Life and Wall-E and Finding Nemo and The Incredibles and all those movies. They had shorts, Pixar shorts, and starting with Toy Story 4, they don't have any shorts anymore before the Pixar movies now, which I think it's just sad. There you go. All right. Shed one tear down my little cheek right there for that. But is it the biggest deal in the world? No, but hey, I thought that was kind of a nice, kind of a cool thing about Pixar having a short between, before the main, before the feature presentation, sort of speak right there. But anyway, that is my abbreviated random thoughts segment. All right, there. What should we do next? What should we do next? Oh, I know what we should do next here. What I should do is remind you that the Sunday show is not the only show that I do each week. Okay, I do have the Thursday night show, and the difference between the Sunday show, this show you're watching right now, and the Thursday show is that on the Thursday show there might be spoilers, okay, about the movie that I'm talking about. Okay, so the way it works with my Sunday show as related to my Thursday show is the Sunday show each week. That is when I spoiler-free review typically one of the latest movies that's coming out. Okay, sometimes I do retro reviews and all that stuff, but typically it's one of the newest movies. So I do a spoiler-free review of that movie on Sunday, and then the following Thursday night I talk about the same movie, but with spoilers possibly included there, because the hope, the wish, the prayer is that if it's a movie that I recommend that you see on the Sunday show, that you go see it between Sunday and Thursday, and then we could talk about it on the Thursday night show via the live chat. So yeah, we can we can engage, we can interact, we can make this an interactive show on the Thursday show by you seeing the movie if it's a movie I recommend, and then you come in and get in a live chat on Thursday night and us talking about the movie, okay, and having a dialogue. And what I really invite discourse in my live chat on Thursday. I mean, I like people who get on the live chat and agree with me on everything as far as the movies and just agree with me in general. But I really, really welcome, I really invite people that have different opinions about movies with me, because it makes it spicier. Okay. It makes it more exciting and all that. And so, if I get somebody in the live chat going, wait, Toy Story 5, that's not your favorite Toy Story movie? Like, what are you smoking, man? Come on, Toy Story 5, that's the greatest Toy Story movie of all. I like that opinion, and I'm going to, I'm going to have a back and forth with you and whatnot, and I'm going to rationalize my opinion and all that stuff. But anyway, so all that to say is I do have the Thursday night show called Movies Merica Spoiler Warning, and I purposely called it that because I wanted yet another way to warn you that there are. But yeah, and even if there's spoilers on there, one thing I recommend with that Thursday night show is, if you haven't seen a movie and you understandably don't want the movie spoiled, just click on the link to start the show on Thursday night and just mute it, okay? And then you're watching the show, okay? As far as YouTube and Rumble are concerned, all right, right there, and that still helps me out, and you're still not getting the movie ruined for you, okay? There you go. But the show comes on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, and 4 p.m. Pacific. Again, Thursday night. And of course, this Thursday night, we'll be talking some Toy Story 5, spoilers and all right there. Okay, so check that out. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's get on with what is some people's favorite segment of every Movies America Live show, which is the show that comes on Sundays, of course. And I don't do this segment on my Thursday night show. I just do this on my Sunday show. And this is the segment I like to call "Is this movie a woke after school special?" Okay. Now, you youngins, you young whippersnappers out there who don't know what an after school special is, I should probably explain that just really briefly. So, an after school special are these shows that came on after school, hence the name, and they came on and like they were on air from like late '70s on through I think like the early '90s, and there were these shows like half an hour shows that you would come home after school, turn on the TV, and these after school specials would come on, and they would teach kids important life lessons like, hey, don't smoke, don't drink, yeah, if you live in a small town with Kevin Bacon in it, don't dance because it's outlawed. No, I don't think that was an episode. So, but don't if you're walking around in a neighborhood and some guy who looks like Joe Biden rolls up in a van with no windows and says, "Hey kids, I got free ice cream in the van over here. Absolutely nothing creepy will happen." Like, don't go anywhere near that van. Okay, like important life lessons for kids to keep them safe and all that. And you know, the hearts were in the right place. I mean, it's a worthy worthy endeavor, right? But these shows were so corny, so cheesy, all right, just dripping with cheese, and even back then, okay. And but they are no more. These after school specials, they are no more. They don't make them anymore. But about 15, 20 years, movies actually some of them, I should say, some movies became woke after school specials, like a woke variation of after school specials, where the movies, they weren't really interested in entertaining you or anything like that. No, they wanted to lecture and sermonize to you and basically use familiar IP, familiar franchises, and use them as delivery devices for the woke virus there. So not every movie does this. There's some movies where they actually care about you and they want to entertain you and they realize what movies are for there. So all that to say is Toy Story 5, a woke after school special. Well, allow my good friend Joan Cusack to answer that for me.
Joan, how does it feel coming back for you? What was it, about this time back that was exciting for you to return?
Jesse story!
Yay!
Jesse story!
Bigger,
Girl
bigger,
power!
bigger. It's true, though.
It is.
Sorry,
It's
boys.
a total
We
girl story.
all about.
God. So I think she answered that for us right there. And you know what? My good buddy Joan is right. It's Jesse's Story 5 with special guests Woody and Buzz Lightyear. And I can't help but notice they haven't made a Jesse spin-off movie because, quite frankly, I think Pixar and or the writers are afraid the Jessie character can't carry a movie on her own. So Jesse needs to ride the coattails of the franchise that two male characters built. Okay. Now I would applaud the Feminist Acting Guild, or FAG, if Jessie tried to do the girl power thing with her own spin-off movie, okay, without needing two male characters to lift her up while she proceeds to tear them down. Do what you claim you can do and use girl power to achieve successfully totally on your own. No assistance needed from those evil men. Now that I'd respect, okay? I'd be the guy in that case doing the sassy finger snapping, going, "You go, girl." Okay, that'd be me, all right? If Jesse, if Pixar and Joan Cusack, they wrote a spin-off Jessie movie and she was on her own and it made $1 billion, or even not even $1 billion, it was just a success on her own, I'd be like, all right, way to go. There you go. There you go right there. Like, you're not claiming to hey, be able to be successful on your own just from girl power while the whole time actually you're just in a movie that, is successful because of a couple of male characters, Buzz and Woody, and Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, because no one was going to see Toy Story 2. That was the first movie that Jesse's character appeared in. No one was going to see Toy Story 2 for Joan Cusack and Jesse. They were going to see, the two-time, Oscar winner Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, from Home Improvement. Let me say it again. Home Improvement. There you go. In the movie right there. So, but again, hey, you know what? I would give her, Jesse, the character and Joan Cusack and Pixar their due if they actually, went out and achieved a movie that was a hit on their own with Jesse and Joan Cusack on their own with no not without riding the coattails of a couple of powerhouse male characters right there. So, but you got to do it. You got to do it. You can't just act or say that you're doing it while you're not really doing it. So, but anyway, that has been the Is This Movie a Woke After School Special. Whoop. All right, so let me double check something right here and just make sure everything is on the up and up and we're all good to go there. All right, I think we're in order here to start wrapping up this abbreviated episode of Movies Merica Live, and I apologize because I am under the weather there. But all that to say is I'll give you my final thoughts on Toy Story 5. Do I recommend you go see this? Well, let's be honest. Let's be frank. All right. It doesn't matter what I say about Toy Story 5. You're gonna go see this movie anyway. If you have kids, right? I mean, if you have kids, they're gonna nag and nag and nag, and you're gonna go see Toy Story 5, regardless of what I say. So, but I would say that let's pretend we live in a world where your kids are like, I don't want to see the movie unless Movies Merica says we should go. Okay, that'd be funny if we lived in a world like that. But all that to say is, I'll put it simply, this is the 5th best Toy Story movie out there. Okay, this is the least of them out there. They are doing basically what typically happens with each, progressive movie or each movie in a franchise. They progressively get worse, okay, for the most part. And so, but I mean, I think that you could go and see it, and enjoy it with your kids. Just be mindful of what I pointed out in this episode, that it is a stealthy, devious delivery system for some gender warping, woke messaging, here and whatnot. But as long as you're aware of that and you can see that in the movie, so that you're not fooled or hypnotized or I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Subliminally. There we go. Subliminally convinced of the philosophies that they're putting in there. Then go see it. It's fine to go see it. It's got enough. It's got funny and funny. It's got entertaining stuff enough for the kids. Your kids. I mean, let's face it. Kids are easy to entertain as long as something's animated, right? Okay. Or there's fun little songs and that kind of thing. And so, your kids will have a great old time in this. But just be mindful as adults that yes, there is messaging in this movie. There is, social order. There's an attempt at kind of manipulating the social order and that kind of thing, and trying to change gender roles and that kind of thing. Kind of more devious, and it's devious because they're using a beloved franchise to do it. Okay, so they can't just create their own stuff. But anyway, so you're going to see this anyway. That's my final thoughts on this movie here, because your kids are going to want you to go take them to that right there. Okay, so anyway, as I wrap up this episode, I just want to thank you guys big time for checking out this episode here, whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording of it. And don't be afraid to, share the gift of Movies Merica. Okay. Send the link to this episode or any other episode. I've got plenty of past episodes of, for plenty of other past movies. Send the links to, family, friends, whatever, maybe your Uncle Frank or, your grandma Ethel, they love movies and they love watching movie review shows like this one, which is different from the rest because, I'm pretty sure I'm the only movie review show with the beer review in it there. Okay, so and a segment where I answer if a movie is a woke after school special or not. Okay, so yeah, send a link to anybody that you even remotely suspects are into movies right there by all means. And then if you would also follow me on the different platforms that I'm on. I'm on X under @Movies Merica. I'm on Facebook. I've got a Movies Merica page, Movies Merica group. I've got my Van Ebert profile page on Facebook. I'm on the Gram. I'm on Instagram there. And I'm on Gab. If you're a Gab guy or Gab girl, I'm on Rumble, of course. If you're watching me on Rumble right now, of course, you know I'm on Rumble. But yeah, if you search Movies Merica on Rumble, you're going to see like 3 Movies Merica accounts. And if you would follow all of them, that would be fantastic. And again, none of this costs you any money whatsoever. This is all completely, totally free to do this right there. But, it helps yours truly out right here, which I am very, very most appreciative if you do that right there. So that would be fantastic there. So, but anyway, all right, it's time to wrap this show up here. But as I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.